What's good, everybody? It's your boy Ace. Welcome back to the channel. Ladies and gentlemen, we are finally back in the Western Conference Finals. It's been 10 years since this man took us there, and he didn't just take us there, he took us all the way to the finals, and I'm hoping the same results happen this year. I'm actually confident they are going to happen. Not for the Clippers, because they suck and they got eliminated in the second round. You should check out the last video 𝗕𝗟𝗍 made. He just goes in on them, and he actually had a prediction for this series, so if you guys are interested, check that out. But right now, today, we're going to be talking about Game 1 analysis, predictions for the rest of the series based off this game, and also I'm gonna go in a little bit about the LeBron and 𝗕𝗟𝗠 𝗵𝗡 MVP debate. As you all know, Giannis won the MVP today. I don't agree with that. I can understand why, but I just don't agree with it. So let's get right into the video. Alright, so the Los Angeles Lakers versus the Denver Nuggets, the infamous 3-1 team, equivalent to the 96 Bulls. If you live under a rock and you don't know about this, the Denver Nuggets overcame a 3-1 deficit twice in the same NBA playoff season. That's an NBA record. It's pretty phenomenal. It was really fun to watch. I'm really proud of Jamal Murray. I've been a fan of him since Kentucky, and obviously Jokic is just a monster who's just blossoming into an NBA superstar. Actually, he's already been an NBA superstar. You can argue Jamal Murray's becoming one. Regardless, it's really fun to watch them go against the Lakers. I was really excited for the Clippers to go against us, but obviously they're always going to be our little brother. They're always going to be the JV team. This is our city, not their city. They need to back off. I mean, literally. Okay, I know, it's done, right? They blew the 3-1 lead, it's finished, we should be over it, but I'm not over it. They gave us so much crap. Literally, they spent millions of dollars on campaigning against the Lakers all season, just for them to get stomped out when they blow a 3-1 lead. Regardless, I don't want to get sidetracked. We're going to talk about the game today. So in the history of the Los Angeles Lakers, we have faced the Denver Nuggets 6 times. In each of those 6 times, we have won. So if you know history, then you can understand the present, and then you'll be able to predict the future. So I'm going to make my prediction. The Lakers are going to win this against the Denver Nuggets. Now, how are they going to win this? Well, let's get right into it. AD made his first Western Conference Finals appearance today. And boy, did he look locked in. He showed up and he balled out, put on a performance that literally gave me throwback vibes. AD had 37, 10 and 4 on 12 of 21 shooting. Mans was a monster tonight. Him and Rondo just had a lethal connection. Rondo had 7 and 9 with 0 turnovers, 9 being assists, and it was just nuts. It reminded me, and the throwback I was talking about, of the New Orleans Pelicans when they played together. They made the playoffs once together, and it was for one season I think they played together, and in that season they balled out, and it was really fun to watch them. And I remember imagining what it would be like to actually, you know, have them as Lakers one day. And I thought it was far-fetched to ever imagine AD in a Laker jersey, but you know, since it's 2020, anything is possible. Shout out Kevin Garnett, and that is exactly what happened. We have AD on our team, and we're in the Western Conference Finals against the Nuggets and not the Clippers. Don't ever forget the Clippers blew a 3-1 lead. Okay, no, I'm sidetracking again. Regardless, it was really fun to watch them both play. They both dominated. And obviously, our man's LBJ had 15, 6, and 12 on 6 of 11 shooting. And I apologize if I'm looking off camera to look at the stats. It's just because I like filming right after the game, so I don't really have time to digest the stats. And honestly, reading off stats is kind of boring, but it's still good to talk about. Now, let's talk about AD, the answer, what the Clippers literally just lacked against the Denver Nuggets. They do not have an answer for Anthony Davis. Nikola Jokic is a top 3 center, in my opinion, in the league today. However, the guy is a defensive liability, and against the likes of Anthony Davis, he's just got to step to the side. Jokic offensively, beast. Best playmaking big, you can say all those things about him. But if you're trying to guard AD, you're going to need bigger bodies and defensively minded bodies, something the Denver Nuggets lack. And honestly, the Clippers did not have a big man that was capable of bullying Jokic and basically the interior post. So obviously, Anthony Davis went to town and he dominated. And I predict for the rest of the series, AD is just going to be a problem for these guys. But knowing the Denver Nuggets, they're going to make their adjustments and they are going to try to find a solution to this. Keyword try. LeBron James, as usual, was a huge benefactor and factor for us in this W tonight, and mainly it's because he was so unselfish, and I really like that he was. LeBron James has a history of being very unselfish, which is a really good thing for us because it gets everybody on the team involved. And against a team like the Denver Nuggets, you need everybody to be on fire. You need everybody clicking on each cylinder because it's vital for our success to go against a team that's so deep like the Nuggets. As 𝗕𝗟𝗍 mentioned before, when you go against a team like the Rockets, you're not too worried about depth because they literally just have 7 men on rotation. However, when you're going against a team like the Denver Nuggets, these guys are deep and they have shooters for days. So it's really imperative that for a team like the Lakers, where we really have a big 2, and on any given night, our big three is random. It could be Kuzma, Rondo stepping up, even KCP. However, the most important part is making sure that they're able to hit the open three. And to make that possible, LeBron just has to be unselfish and just do what he does best, pass the ball and make sure that the open man hits the shot. And he did that, and it was really fun to watch. Now, for the Denver Nuggets, Jokic and Murray had their typical playoff performance as of this year. Jokic had 21, 6, and 12 on 8 of 14 shooting, and Jamal Murray had 21, 1, and 5 on 7 of 12 shooting. That's great for them. You know, if you understand how shooting percentages work, these guys balled out, they did what they do, but it just wasn't enough because their team was not clicking. Because of the Lakers' interior defense or perimeter defense, it was very hard for Jokic to make the swing pass out to his men on the wings, and it was really hard for Jamal Murray to drive like he usually does into the paint and try to get an acrobatic layup or his beautiful floater that he usually hits. And that's mainly because you got guys like AD in the paint, and then you have Dwight Howard on the boards, and then you also have JaVale McGee. Like, that's very hard to deal with for the Denver Nuggets, and I'm really fortunate that we have big men like we do, because I just don't see the Denver Nuggets being able to have an answer to that. Now, the last of the stats I want to mention is that the Lakers made 44 out of their 83 shots. Nuggets made 41 out of their 83 shots. The Lakers had 11 out of 26 three-pointers. The Nuggets had 9 out of 26 three-pointers. They nearly had the same rebounds. The Nuggets had a little bit more. And we had 33 assists compared to their 23 assists. And that is the indicator of why we won tonight. It's because we're unselfish with the ball. Everybody's eating, everybody's able to score, and we're getting everybody hot, as I mentioned before. If we can continue that play, I really firmly believe this series will be over much quicker than a lot of people anticipated. However, I'm going to stick to my prediction about this series. I'm not going to change my mind just because game one was such a blowout. Obviously, we've lost game one of each series this year. This is the first series. We won the first game. But my prediction before the series was 6 games. I'm going to stick with it. I could see why somebody would say 5 games after game one, but we'll see how it goes. Come back to the channel and check it out when we do win this. I really believe we're gonna get this, and I'm so excited to finally go back to the finals. Man, this is an exciting time to be a Laker fan, especially because of the Clippers blowing a 3-1 lead. Never forget that. Now, the last thing I want to mention about this series is people are worried about how we're gonna guard Murray. Well, we've guarded Westbrook, we've guarded Harden, and we've also guarded Mr. Dame Dollar. So we've actually guarded the best the West has to offer. Obviously, Steph is injured, but yeah, we did a fantastic job of that. So I'm not too worried about Murray, but he's still a fantastic player that we have to keep our heads up for. All right, so that's enough for the analysis for game one. I kind of went on a lot for a little bit. I apologize for that. Let's talk about Giannis versus LeBron, because this is something that has pissed me off. I obviously am a firm believer that LeBron should have won the MVP. I can understand why you would want Giannis to win the MVP. His numbers are phenomenal. He has a great story, and he actually did lead his team in the East to the first seed. But LeBron did the same thing in the West, the harder coast, may I add, and he did it at a time where people thought he couldn't. You know, a lot of people said if LeBron came in the West, he would just collapse. You know, he's only successful. He's only made so many runs to the playoffs and to the finals every year because he plays in the weak East. Then he comes to the West with a new team, a brand new team, and then he leads them to the, no, I'm not going to go that far, but he leads them to the Western Conference Finals. And obviously, the MVP is a regular season award, so let's just forget about the playoffs for now. He leads them to the first seed in the West, right? The Clippers, let's just compare it there. Kawhi Leonard collapsed. He wasn't able to actually even adjust to the Clippers team. Obviously, they got bounced out in the second round. And on top of that, throughout the year, there was chemistry issues with this team. So you got to give credit to where credit's due. Even with a team like the Clippers with Doc Rivers, the infamous motivational speaking coach that he is, he wasn't able to get that team to gel. And LeBron was able to do that with the Lakers. So I got to give him credit as a leader and as obviously holding the NBA on his shoulders while averaging 25.3, 10.2, and 7.8. And the 10.2 is assists per game. That's nuts. He led the league in assists. Not too surprised. He's been doing that as of recently, especially because as LeBron's been aging, he's been focusing more of his game on assists and playmaking while setting up AD to be the main scorer for the team. Now, as for stats, Giannis had 29.5 points per game, 5.6 assists per game, and 13.6 rebounds per game. That's nuts. I cannot even argue against that. That is crazy. That's why off merit alone, off of the stats alone, you can just be like, yeah, Giannis should get the MVP. However, for LeBron, he definitely put up numbers, and he is deserving of this award, especially because he literally is the ambassador of the league. He holds it down. He is LeBron James. And for him to show up and never cheat the game is something that we should credit. And I think the biased media that feeds this BS on ESPN or whether it's Fox, just so we can clickbait their videos and get their ratings up, is just utter crap. Like, it pisses me off because you take guys like Kobe, when Steve Nash went back-to-back MVPs, Kobe should have won one at least. And we all know that because he took Smush Parker and a bunch of bums to the playoffs. And that wasn't possible if Kobe was not on the Lakers that year. But the argument is, what would the Phoenix Suns be without Steve Nash? Like, what? And it's literally just the hypocrisy of it all. It's the NBA media feeding us a narrative just so we can stick around and click into their ratings. And it just gets me really upset and it gets me really mad. And I think it's about time that we should be more fair to the players. And if we're not going to pay attention to how the MVP awards are given out, then I really just want you guys to be aware that that award is pretty overglorified, if I'm going to be honest with you. Because the MVP award is honestly distributed to somebody based off the votes from the people, the same people that said the Clippers will make it to the finals, the same people that give their BS takes on Fox and ESPN daily that are just not accurate. So I don't want people to think that just because you have so many MVPs, that means that you're like the greatest to do it. That's not the case. MVPs obviously look amazing for a player, and having more is never a bad thing. But I think the most important thing is championships. And obviously this is going to give LeBron that chip on his shoulder to get it done this year so he can get that 4th ring. And that's what's going to happen, ladies and gentlemen. I'm really excited. Can't wait for game 2. We're going to have an analysis on that as well. But until then, I want you all to be safe, stay cool, leave a like on this video, comment as always, suggestions that you have, we listen to them, and then subscribe. We love you guys. I hope you guys do well. Peace out. Ace signing out. Peace. What's good, everybody? It's your boy Ace. If you made it this far into the video, please comment the Clippers blew a 3-1 lead. I want to see that spam throughout the comments. I don't want anybody forgetting about what our little brothers, the JV team, did. They blew that lead and they deserve to hear about it every single day. And yeah, lay off P, whatever you want to say about them, go nuts. I love y'all. I hope you guys come back for the next video, but until then, peace.